So, oh boy, I've spent the majority of 2023 watching shoujo anime, and you know what? I'm okay.
Why the fuck you lying?
I'm about to get real for a hot minute here, so, buckle your seatbelts. I lost my job at the turn of the year. It was a job that I'd done for over 8 years, and one that was essentially a perfect fit for me. Like, it gave me autonomy and it allowed me to work exactly the way that I like. And it was ideal in a lot of ways. And it was really a tough reality to face at the turn of the year, having to get back out there into a job market where my role after 8 years is now very much saturated. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm particularly good at my job, but when you're opening a job listing on LinkedIn, one that's only 15 minutes old, and there's already over 200 applicants, it's somewhat deflating. And especially if you leave that another 15 minutes, 30 minutes, that will only triple and quadruple that number. So it's a real sort of reality check that you're facing at that point. Remember when the title of this chapter was Why Shoujo? Don't worry, I'm honestly getting there, I promise. I found myself with a lot of time on my hands, between sending off 800 job applications a day. So I decided that this would be the year that I got into anime. And I don't mean like watch my first anime ever. Like, I've been dipping my toe in and out for years. I've been a tourist in the anime. I was gonna say dungeon just then. Dungeon's probably pretty applicable. I've been a tourist in the anime dungeon for a long time, but I went from watching like 2 or 3 different shows a year, really, and really just like the big normie ones that like all the buzz is about. I went from 2 or 3 different shows a year to, like watching anime. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been deep down in the anime shit. Day in, day out, I've been watching anime. And now, to answer the question, why shoujo? I mean, the big hitters are like shonen and isekai. And isekai is a genre literally dedicated to mostly young men who are doing their best to escape their dog-ass lives into worlds and realities where they're the hottest, most big-time motherfuckers in all the land. So wouldn't they serve me better? Here's the thing. Shoujo is just good fucking vibes. I'm not here to watch superpowered 15-year-olds chop each other in half using like newly awakened ancient alien powers. Although that is also cool, shout out to Jujutsu Kaisen. What I'm here for is watching like totally powerless 15-year-olds turn into quivering soup just by accidentally brushing up against each other. The superpowers in shoujo are 2 characters basically edging in the most wholesome way imaginable for like 10 episodes.
Each is convinced that the other has finally gathered up the courage to make a move, and the anticipation is killing them. Something's bound to happen.
I mean, unless you're watching More Than a Married Couple, but not lovers, in which case you can scrap the whole wholesome part. That piece of shit is literally just edging the TV show. Some shows even turn that wholesome toing and throwing experience into a kind of shonen anime in itself. Like, shouts to Kaguya-sama, one of the best animes I've ever seen.
Underwear.
I've been trying to kind of like self-diagnose why shoujo is a genre that I find the most comfortable and watchable. And I think it has something to do with Arrested Development, like not the show.
That is not how chicken sounds.
Or the band. But like rather the form of stunted emotional growth. I had by most accounts like a pretty unconventional high school experience for a mixture of both disciplinary, I said that right, didn't I? And health reasons. I was in and out of school for like most of my teenage years, mostly out. So I didn't experience a lot of the formative shit that happens in that environment. I still had experiences like dating and stuff, but I had it removed from that environment. And I mean, I wasn't completely ostracized like from friends and whatnot. I still had those, but at that age, I think not being a student, it felt like you were on the outside looking in. Now, as an adult, I kind of gravitate towards stories set in high schools and, well, the experiences around that. For the longest time, I felt like a fucking weirdo that these stories were so interesting to me. Like it felt somehow wrong that I never outgrew that fascination. But as I began to make sense of it and this idea of, you know, having that big part of my life missing, I realized I'm really just seeking out something that I never had, and that I'm trying to secondhand experience what I missed. Like it's this enigmatic, endlessly fascinating thing for me, as if the very idea of school itself is a grand work of fiction. Like I'm watching like a medieval fantasy or something. Even though for 95% of the world, it was a largely mundane time in their lives. So that's the groundwork of me essentially psychologically profiling myself publicly on the internet. What I thought would be interesting now that we get to the actual meat of this video was, instead of me like just recounting all the anime I've watched and giving a nice neat little review and whatnot to like things that you've probably heard a million times, instead what I thought I would do, since I've watched a lot, is just go through the list of everything that I've seen and see if I can actually remember facts and details about each of these shows. Because honestly, a lot of the time I've been very ambiently watching these. Because like I said, they've been comfort food. They've been just easy watching. I'll put it on in the background while I'm like crying about the 100th job rejection that I'd had. Like this was just an ambient thing that was happening around me while I was trying to get through something. So what I'm going to try and do is recount as much of each of these shows as possible, and then maybe within that you'll see some sort of review form, or maybe not. Okay, let me first address the elephant in the room. This is not my anime list that I'm using. This is anilist.co. Do you know why that is? It's because I heard that anilist.co had the best app for recording anime that you've watched or are watching, and since that's the way that I'd be logging a lot of this stuff, I went with that. I'll be honest, I didn't really notice much of a difference. There's no deficiencies in anilist.co and their app. Like I know that my anime list is, you know, Big Nuts. Mr. Big Nuts is my anime list, but this is anilist.co. So if that offends anyone, get over it. By the way, if you're on anilist.co for any reason, you can follow me. My name's Laozi there as well. So I don't even know if you can say hello. I'll just follow you back if you follow me. So I guess it starts with watching on Anilist.co. A lot of these aren't, shoujo. Blue Lock, not a shoujo. I mean, kind of. I guess it's a shoujo if you consider male camaraderie a romance. It's sort of romantic, but where we start here. All right, so I got to a point. Let me also preface. I got to a point where I'd watched so much shoujo that I'd started being recommended harem animes. So you're gonna see some of these and think, "Hey, that's not shoujo." Like, all right, I get it. You're an anime expert, firstly, but also, I'm not trying to say this is shoujo. For instance, where we start here, girlfriend. Like, I'm gonna be including harems, so just be warned and don't be upset. Girlfriend is a harem anime. What was it about? This is the one where oh my god, this is the one where he gets a girlfriend at the start, and then just another girl decides to date him, and then another girl out of spite decides to date him, and then I think at some point he ended up with 4 girlfriends. I dropped off of this, I'm going to be honest. It felt stupid to me. This show seemed stupid to me. Like, there's a certain level of disconnect you can make in anime, obviously, because it's cartoon characters, but it just seemed dumb. Like, I just found myself the entire time thinking, why are any of these women just trucking along with this? Like, I don't get what is so special about the dude. It's not even that he's particularly charismatic or anything. They all just seem to really like being around him. And if the guy was particularly enigmatic in some way, I might have stuck with it, but I just remember thinking, this is dumb. This is too dumb even for me. So I dropped off of girlfriend. My love story with the Yamada-kun. So this should actually be under completed. I should change this. But I love this anime. This was really good. This is the kind of exact vibe that I'm going for. Is that sort of mellow, upbeat, cool characters, I guess you could say, but cool in the sense that they're just sort of kind of chill and likable. Everyone in this show is pretty much likable. I don't think there was a single person that was even a bad guy. Just good vibes. My love story, Yamada-kun, good vibes. I would recommend this. Rent a Girlfriend, trash. I've watched every episode and I'm continuing to watch it, but it's trash. It's pure trash. Everyone in it, not everyone. The 2 main characters in it, bad people. The main guy, innocently bad. The main girl, just bad. Just taking advantage, really. Like, the main dude, down bad to the point that he's 6 feet under, but the girl, like, 2 seasons in, she then sort of realizes that she kind of likes this dude, but hell, that entire time she's still gonna let him do stuff for her, even though she can see that he's clearly doing it just to try and buy her affection and buy her attention and stuff. She keeps him going. There's no point she's like, hey, stop it. No, this is unhealthy. No. We need to time out, buddy. We need to time out. You need to pursue other interests. Never. She'd keep it going. Just trash. And I will continue to watch it until it finishes and hate myself for doing so. So let's just move on. Skip and Loafer. Again, great fucking show. Really, funny enough, my love story with Yamada-kun and Skip and Loafer arrived at the same time. And what a blessing, because they are equally sort of low-key. Skip and Loafer, more low-key, I'd say. Skip and Loafer's more focused on the culture and like a sort of message, and my love story is more just sort of upbeat, rom-com-y. So Skip and Loafer's got some depth to it. Like, I guess it sort of explores the divide in like in class, you know, friendship, and it's got everything really. I'm waffling, but it's got everything. And again, not really anyone unlikable in this show, which is something I like. Like, I know a lot of shows have to have a bad agent to sort of just create a reason for anything to be dramatic. But sometimes you don't need that, do you? Sometimes you just want to watch a show and just vibe out and chill. And Skip and Loafer's got that in buckets.
おばさんに帰んないで欲しかった？
いや。
よかったじゃん。むしろ私のが嫌。
Plus, you know, it has a bit of intelligence behind it, so you're not going to feel completely brain dead after watching it. So fully recommend Skip and Loafer. Tonikawa, I don't know how to say that. I'm going to say Tonikawa. Over the moon for you. I dropped off of this show a season and a half in. Again, down bad guy. What does he do? He proposes to a woman who saves his life, I think. That's right? He proposes to a woman who saves his life, and then she leaves, and then she comes back and she's like, all right, I'm your wife now. And then that's the show. And then the rest of the show is them just being two 12-year-olds. I don't know how old they are. They look 12. Just two preteens who are now married and live together, by the way. They also live together. And, you know, it's sort of like More Than a Married Couple, but down a few ratings, you know. Like PG More Than a Married Couple. Plenty of edging in there if you're into that. Not for me. Not particularly for me. This show just kind of lost me halfway through the second season. It just didn't seem like it was really going anywhere that interested me. Well, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it unless you like edging, you know, unless you're like 12-year-old married people edging.
How you doing? All right. Could you have a seat over in that chair, please?
Aharen san wa hakarananai. I didn't say that properly at all. So this is the one with the tiny girl, right? This is an interesting subgenre that I found myself exploring by accident. Is these shows that involve tiny women and regular-sized teenage boys that end up together. Obviously, Toradora, however you say it, is like the apex of that, and we'll get to that. But this is in the tiny woman romance genre, and I think this is the one where she speaks really like softly. Is this the one where she speaks really softly? She's got like grey hair and real issues with personal space. And I remember thinking to myself halfway in, wait a minute, are they meant to be into each other? Because there was literally no chemistry between the two characters whatsoever. I was thinking, okay, so they're just sort of like friends, right? Like, this is just sort of like a platonic, like, these guys are chill, like, she understands him, he understands her, they just get along. But no, they end up romantically involved, to the surprise of myself, at least. Don't know if other people thought that was, you know, due, but there was definitely nothing there that suggested to me that they belonged anywhere near a romantic relationship together. Don't toy with me, Miss Nogataro. So this is a fun show. It's stupid. It is, by all accounts, brain dead, but I enjoyed it. Like, I thought the characters were kind of fun. I thought the theme song was good. I just liked the development of the relationship between the main two people. Like, I thought it actually developed pretty well for what it was doing, you know? And yeah, I just thought the characters were fun. I mean, the least you can ask from a show like this is that it's fun, right? And it was fun, so I can't really complain. Fruit Basket, this is where we get a bit, I don't know if it's controversial. I mean, I gave it an 8, but people say Fruits Basket, sorry. People say that this show is the best shoujo ever. I disagree.
Are you sure about that?
I thought it was good, but the best? I just don't, like, you look on certain websites and it's one of the top rated shows among all shows. And I remember watching it thinking, like, this is entertaining, but, like, I mean, I could watch something else. Like, the sort of shonen-y aspect of it, of like each of them had interesting powers, ancient, mystical, alien powers. Like, that's fun that they mixed that with the shoujo-ness a bit. But yeah, like, I guess the second and third seasons were better than the first, and I think that's sort of unanimously agreed on. But I still don't think this is the best shoujo ever made. I think it's just quite entertaining. Was Gamers a shoujo? I'm trying to think. I'm thinking back. Gamers had, most of these shows have romance in them, but that romance a shoujo does not make, right? So if it's just a slither of the show, I'm not calling it a shoujo, so we'll move on. Given, was that a shoujo? There was romance in it between boys, by the way. I liked Given. I thought the vibe of it was good. The animation was good. The music was cool. I don't know if we're classifying it as a shoujo, but I'd still recommend it. It's a good show. Decent. Not as good as Bochi the Rock. Bochi? I don't know how you say it. I can't say any of these things. Not as good as that as far as music goes, but Given was good. I'd recommend it. Horimiya. This is another contentious thing. I think Horimiya is overrated. I'm sorry. I really do. Like, this is another show that people absolutely fucking adore. They love this show to bits, and I just don't get it. I'm afraid I just don't get it. Like, it just seems quite sort of run-of-the-mill. It's not as fun as certain shows. Like, we'll take Don't Toy With Me, since it's like right there. It's not as fun as a show like that, and it's not as vibey as a show like Skip and Loafer. Like, it doesn't do either particularly well. It sits right in the middle in a sort of grey zone that is very much grey, because it kind of takes both those elements and just sort of tones them down. Like, I really don't understand the fascination and the love for this show. I mean, I liked it. That's why I gave it a 7. It was watchable, and, you know, it was fun to have on. I mean, not even fun. It was entertaining to have on. But I don't see the fascination. Is it because they got together so quickly? Was that seen as like trailblazing or something? Because I know for a fact, like shoujo, we're 10 episodes deep before they've even held hands, a lot of these characters. So Horimiya, like, at least they got to the point very quickly, and then the rest of the show was like, hey, these two are together and they're exploring this. That I appreciate. That's probably why I gave it a 7, because it wasn't like edging you, the viewer. It was just like, hey, these two like each other and now they're together. 8 episodes left. Let's see what happens. So yeah, a decent show, but man, that show gets so much love, and I don't know if I get it. But no, more power to you if you like it. Hyuka, I don't think that was a shoujo. That was like a mystery, a weird one at that. Kaguya-sama, the best. It's the best. This is the best shoujo. I don't know what Fruits Basket has to say about anything, but Kaguya-sama is the best.
I need a lady friend!
It's the best shoujo, it's the best shonen, it's the best anime. Like, if I'm being serious, it's probably my favorite anime, Kaguya-sama. The characters are brilliant. The way it plays with the conventions of shoujo and sort of uses it as a battle instead of just two characters like clumsily goofing their way through 10 episodes of, you know, them slowly coming closer to each other and then kissing at the end.
Are you familiar with the term read receipt? Every time you open a message in this app, there's a function that notifies the sender. In other words, the sender can see if you've read their texts. Like how I saw the DMs I sent you at different intervals were all marked red the moment after I hit send.
Like, this turns it into an actual war. These people are at war with each other over affection. And it's sort of genius in a way. Excellent. The best. If nothing else, watch that, please. Masamune-kun's Revenge. So this is ongoing. I think a 6.5 is pretty fair, to be honest. I'm still watching it. I'm still like at it. And it's taken a sort of interesting turn recently, if you're up to date with season 2. But it's still just, it's not funny enough and it's not vibey enough. It's sort of, it's Horimiya light, if we can call it that. Like, it's in that Horimiya grey area, whereas Horimiya is like better. So if you're going to watch one or the other, I'd watch Horimiya. I don't even know if I'm saying Horimiya properly. I've said that about 18 times now, and someone out there is just like, it's like fingers on a chalkboard for them. I'm sorry, I'm trying. But if you're going to pick one or the other, Masamune-kun's Revenge it's just mid. It really is just mid. It's the most mid show. Well, no, it's actually not. I'm going to get to the most mid shoujo, but it's very mid. So, you know, watch it if you got nothing else to watch. More Than a Married Couple, fucking trash. Absolute goddamn trash. When I said this is edging the TV show, I'm so 100% on that.
なんだ急にいつも間開けてんじゃねえか。さっきの今でこれは感触を思い出すって。
This is basically, is it eroge? Is that how people say it? It's porn. It's like softcore porn, essentially, without actually any sex happening. Why, as a school project, are they shacking up teenage girls and teenage boys? I mean, if you're that teenage boy or teenage girl, fucking jackpot. What life. What life that you get to share a common space and you just get to do whatever you want in this space. Like, what a fucking jackpot that is. But I'm just thinking to myself the entire time, this is just edging porn. That's all it is. I don't even remember a plot. I remember the plot being, are they gonna fuck or not? And I don't think they do, but boy do they get close about 1,000 times. So if that's your shit, fucking go with God, you know. I thought it was trash. My Dress Up Darling, surprisingly one of my favorite shoujo. I didn't think coming into this, especially when you look at like the cover art and like the concept of it being about a dude, you know, a bit of a nerd, I guess, at school, a bit of an outsider, who like gets close to like the hottest girl at school. Like, on paper that's every shoujo and just seems like it's dumb, but actually My Dress Up Darling is like this really interesting exploration of passion and art. Like, weirdly enough, yeah, a really endearing look at two people who really just love what they do and come together over a shared passion for the thing that they love, which is, you know, dressing up. Cosplay, sorry. I forgot the word. Cosplay. So he's like a seamstress. I don't know what they would call it. Like, he basically creates like clothes and stuff for dolls, but really like refined and artisanal, is that what you'd call it? Just a very detail oriented clothing for like dolls and stuff. And she's really passionate about cosplay. So they come together, he makes the dresses, she wears them, their passions combine, and then other passions combine very sort of organically. It doesn't feel like this is just a stupid idea for them to get together and fuck at the end. This is actually just two people with a shared passion for something coming together and very organically becoming very affectionate for each other. Like, I actually found this very sort of endearing, this show. I loved it. It might be like second or third favorite shoujo that I've seen this year. My love story, actually no, this is my second. So My Dress Up Darling is third. My Love Story is second. How are more people not talking about this show, or have never talked about this show? I feel like I looked around at coverage of this, or like IMDb ratings, anything, and there's hardly any mention of it on lists or anything. And it's fucking amazing. Like, it's one of the best shoujos I've watched this year. It's the second best, in fact. It's just behind Kaguya-sama, which is the best anime of all time. So My Love Story is just like, where do you even start? It's funny to begin with. Like, sometimes when you watch these shoujos and they're funny, like when I talk about Miss Nogataro and say that's fun or funny, I'm not like sat here like laughing. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like you'd say to yourself, like, oh, that's fun. And you'd smile. But My Love Story is actually funny. Like, funny shit happens. The characters in it are so likable. The main dude, I don't know what, I've forgotten his name, but he's like this massive hulking dude who scares everyone because he's so gigantic, but he's also just like the nicest person in the world. And he ends up with this girl who is like the tiniest. It's another tiny woman romance, but this is the apex. Toradora is second. This is the apex of tiny girl romance JoJo's, right? So she's tiny and she's really soft-spoken, and she's like the only woman on the planet apparently that finds this huge hulking beefy dude attractive. It's cute. It's cute and it's funny, and you should really watch it. That's rare. It's rare that shoujos are genuinely funny. Do not skip My Senpai is Annoying. I don't remember a fucking thing about this. Holy shit, what was this show? My Senpai is Annoying. Is this set in an office? Is this the one where she's sat next to her boss and her boss is always really nice to her, and then they end up together at the end? Because if this is that, then this is the one, this is another one like that, a harem show, where I was thinking to myself, wait, I'm meant to think they're romantically involved? No, I don't ship this. I don't want this. Like, I watched this thing to myself, oh, this is nice. They just got this cool friendship, and, you know, that's her senpai and he looks out for her, and, you know, it's just nice. But no, like, they end up together, and it was almost like watching, oh God, I don't want to say it, like a dad end up with his daughter or something like that, you know. Like, it felt wrong that the two people in this ended up together. Like, I think that's probably why I gave it a 6.5. Probably it was towing a line of like 7.5, and then the romance happened. I was like, nope, I'm gonna back out of this one slowly. ruined by unnecessary, a shoujo ruined by unnecessary romance. Imagine that. Real life, don't think it's a shoujo, but I really liked it. Remake Our Life, sort of the same thing as real life. Shikamori's not just a cutie. I'm gonna be totally honest. Anytime I think of this show, I think of Tokinawa, which probably doesn't speak to how much of an impact this left on me. I think there is a pink-haired girl in it who stops the main guy getting hurt. That's like her job. He's constantly gonna get hurt and she's trying to stop it happening. I don't even care. I gave it a 6. That's probably pretty generous. I mean, I gave More Than a Married Couple 5, so yeah, that's probably fair. If More Than a Married Couple is the baseline and that's 5, I probably gave More Than a Married Couple too much if I'm thinking back, but it's fine, whatever. Shikamori's not just a cutie. Absolutely forgettable. The Angel Next Door spoils me rotten. Surprisingly good. I know people might be surprised by that, but I actually thought this was surprisingly well done given the concept. I know people had issues with the fact that she was basically just waiting on him, but I didn't see it as her just being a quote-unquote wife, you know, a quote-unquote stay-at-home wife. Like I saw it as her wanting to give him something and him wanting to give her something. Like, he wanted to give her support, like, emotionally, and to be there for her and stuff like that. And she wanted to repay that by keeping him fed and healthy. And they had like a symbiotic relationship in that sense. And I remember it not being nearly as horny as I thought it would be. Like, it was actually quite a sweet and innocent sort of story of just two people who give each other something that is missing from each of their own lives. And that's just, you know, it just seemed like a nice coming together of two people, even though, again, it's two like 14-year-olds who live alone, which that happens a lot in shoujo apparently. Like, half of the characters in shoujos are just like 14-15-year-olds who somehow live alone. Even skipping over, that's not even it, because she lives with like her auntie. So no, like, yeah, this this is just a thing that happens. I don't know if this is real in Japan. If anyone out there can tell me, is this a real phenomena that there are just a bunch of high school students who just live by themselves at 14, 15 years old? Like, if this is a real thing, that's fascinating. I'd love to know about it. But yeah, just again, two characters living by themselves next door to each other, 15 or 14 years old. But yeah, very sweet, very nice. They complete each other, you know? Cringiest thing I've ever said. Listen, it's just a nice show. I'd recommend it. 7.5. Give it a try. I don't fucking know. Devil is a part-timer. I don't think is a shoujo. Ice Guy and his cool female colleague. I really liked this show. And I really want to tell you why. Because again, I feel like people slept on this. And it's just because when I mentioned cool vibes earlier, when I said that shoujo is just cool fucking vibes, this is the epitome of what I look for in a shoujo, right? Is just really downbeat, really mellow. This is the most mellow shoujo you will ever watch. The two main characters are just so like chilled out. I mean, cool female colleague is right there in the title, man. She's so chilled.
Did you get to watch the first George movie in theaters?
Yes. Last year, actually. I went to see it alone, alongside all the children and parents.
Amazing.
They're both so chilled. There's so little drama. but like in a good way. Like the most dramatic thing that happens is that like the guy gets ill, I think, or he starts to. He has like magic powers. It's kind of weird. This is like a magical real sort of world where like they both work in an office block, but he has like Ice Queen ancestry in him or something, and like he sometimes makes it snow when he's nervous. She doesn't have any powers apart from the ability to just be like the chillest motherfucker in the building. If you're looking for something to really just mellow out and vibe to just chill to, and these aren't puns, by the way, me saying chill constantly, I'm not doing it because this is called the Ice Guy. It's just because it is chill. This is a real mellow, this is ASMR shoujo, this show. This is just easy. And I loved it. And you should watch it. And now we move on to something that isn't ASMR and isn't mellow and and annoyed me so much that I wanted to make a whole different like separate video for it, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna tell you my grievances now and move on. Quintessential quintuplets. This motherfucker in this show spends an entire season not being able to work out who the fuck is who from this quintuplet bunch. Like there's a guy that's tutoring like, how many is quintuplets? However many quintuplets are. 5? Or, I can't remember. Let's just say there's 5. Oh no, I have to look this up. Sorry, I have to look up what this is. Hang on. Meaning 5. There we go. So I was right. So he's tutoring 5 quintuplets, and this motherfucker, he can't tell them apart for an entire season. It's like the entire story is that he can't tell them apart, despite the fact that they all look and dress and style their hair and wear different fucking things. They all look completely separable. Like they're all sisters, but some have like blonde hair, some have blue hair, some wear a bow constantly, some are sporty. Like there are very, very, very noticeable differences between these women, and this fucking guy cannot tell them apart. It takes him an entire season.
急にどうしたの？同じ髪型にしろって。
いつき、みく、よつば、みの、いちか。
みの、みく、いつき、よつば、いちかよ。
And I don't know why I watched 2 seasons and a movie, by the way. I watched all of that. And it takes him essentially an entire season, maybe more, just to work out who the fuck is who, despite the fact they are so uniquely styled. My god, it pissed me off so much. I hate watch this show, pretty much. And for so much of it, he's such an asshole to these women, and they love him. Oh, it's fucking stupid. Anyway, Toma-chan is a girl. It was there, you know. It was all right, you know. It was like, it had like Miss Nogataro energy, but wasn't as fun. The characters weren't as entertaining. I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, it's just 6.5, you know. That's what it is. Man, I gave 6.5 quintessential quintuplets as well. This is better. Toma-chan's better than quintessential. This is probably a 6, actually. I'm not gonna change it, but just this is a 6. Mid. It's mid, isn't it? Toradora. I mentioned this being the apex of tiny women shoujo. It's second, of course. Now that we've gathered that my love story is actually the apex of tiny women shoujo, this is second. Toradora. Everyone knows this show. It's fun. The characters are likable. There is a believable development between the 2 main characters. They give each other something. For the most part, he gives her something. Like he is supporting her for the longest time. And then, you know, the warmth happens. Well, they call it a tsundere, right?
If you think the Chihuahua's underboobs are that interesting, you should know this. She's got as many breasts as a dog! 6 of them!
Yeah, right.
Ugh, I'm starting to feel dirty just standing next to you.
I'm not an anime scholar, but I guess she's a tsundere, right? The main woman in that. And they gradually warm to each other. And it's nice. It's nice. And it's a fun show. It's one of those shows that people herald as being one of the best. I've given it a 7.5. It's decent. It's decent. It's good. I'd recommend it. It's not one of the greatest of all time. And it's not the best tiny girl shoujo. My love story, like I said. But still, a classic, Toradora. Wondrick Prairie. I just want to quickly touch on this. What a great show for the first 5 episodes. Right? This is a shoujo. I'm just spitting right now. This was such a good show for like the early going, and then they had to like. Never have I seen a season of a show have 2 recap episodes in amongst a 12 episode show. I've never seen that before. That should tell you everything you need to know about Wondrick Prairie, is that they felt a need to have 2 recap episodes in the space of 1 season of 12 episodes. Wotakoi. Love is Hard for Otaku. I really like this. Fun show. Office. There needs to be more office-based shoujo, because this is my favorite thing. Like, I know I talked about how high school like settings are always fascinating to me, but I love a good office shoujo. I haven't seen many, but this is evidence of how fun they can be. Ice Guy and his cool female colleague, another office romance that was just fun, you know. This one, I think she games all day. They both game. They're gamers. Are they gamers? Are they gaming? Are they gaming hard? I think so. I think they're gamers. So they're 2 gamers. They love each other. They work in an office. It's just fun. It's just fun. I'm losing steam. All I can say is this is a fun show. This is a fun show. Set in an office. They're both gamers. I remember the characters being particularly likable in this. I'd recommend it. I've got nothing. I'd recommend it. Your Lie in April. This is another one of those shows that I think maybe is a little bit overrated. I know that's going to be hard for a lot of people to hear since it's so sort of emotional. I remember thinking to myself, this is quite long, and if this was slightly shorter, it might actually be an 8 or an 8.5. As a piece about passionate people doing the things that they love, a fascinating exploration of what you feel you need to accomplish, of what you have in you, and when you think there's a timer on it, how much of that you need to get out. As a human story, yeah, like a really good show. Much like March Comes On Like a Lion, like Your Lie in April is like a really good exploration of a person's just psyche when they love something.
君の音が聞こえる。君がいる。
And how that can break someone or how that can lift someone up. Yeah, really good. I mean, I might even give this an 8 actually in retrospect, but I don't think it's one of the best, you know? And as far as shoujo goes, it was more a show about it sounds so corny. It's more a show about people than it is about romance. But it really was an exploration of just humans and not love. Do you know what I mean? Like it was more that than that. And as a person looking for shoujo, and really I'm looking for those vibes, you know, and Your Lie in April was far too emotional for me at a time when I was already very sort of emotional and sort of getting through something. This was a tough watch, but it's good. It's really good. I'd still recommend it to anybody. Jesus, we're getting into the weeds with this one, right? Dropped. All right, when I almost called something the most mid shoujo I've ever seen, I had to stop myself. And this is why. A Galaxy Next Door, I dropped this. I don't drop much. As you'll see, I mean, I've completed shows that I disliked. Where is it? Where does Q come on the alphabet? Quintessential Quintet. I watched 2 seasons and a movie of this, and I hate watched every second of it, but I still watched 2 seasons and a movie. A Galaxy Next Door was the most Hallmark Christian romance of an anime I've ever seen. This is the most milquetoast, I'll have my bread and water now please, anime I've ever seen. And I just dropped. I dropped after 6 or 7 episodes. I was expecting them to tell me about the word of Christ at some point. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. When I say go with God, this time I really mean it, because, yeah, Christians will go crazy for this anime. My tiny senpai fell off. Why did I fall off for this one? Probably because it was another tiny girl romance that just wasn't good. Was it? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember a single detail about this show. When I think about this show, in my head is my senpai is annoying. Every picture, I've probably watched about 2 or 3 episodes of this, and every picture I have in my head is of my senpai is annoying. So maybe that just tells you everything you need to know. Devil is a part-timer, not a shoujo. Also the 2nd season. Oh my god, that baby. Oh my god.
He means your mama and your dada. Dada is Satan!
That's why I dropped it. That fucking kid did my head in. Ugh, like there's a line. I'm sorry, this isn't about shoujo. There's a line like Spy Family, for instance, right? The little kid in that does the baby voice and everything, but she's just cute enough and just endearing enough that it doesn't really bother you that she does like the baby voice and she does like the annoying kid stuff. But man, season 2 of The Devil is a Part-Timer, that baby, and she's in it constantly. That baby is just baby voice, annoying actions. Everything is about the baby. And her voice is just tears through me. Much like my pronunciation of some of these show names being like nails on a chalkboard for some people. That baby's voice was nails on a chalkboard for me. I couldn't escape quick enough. The girl like forgot her glasses. I watched 2 episodes of this show and it seemed so paint by numbers I didn't bother continuing. I don't know if there's much more I can say than that. Maybe this show gets really good. Maybe I should have given it more than 2 episodes. It was like a combination of like 8 shows that I've mentioned previously. 8 bad ones, like 8 other ones that I wouldn't watch again, you know, combined into one show. She forgot her glasses in the first episode. Yep. So, oh boy, that was it's quite a breakdown. But I've watched a lot of shoujo this year. This is all this year, by the way. And in between that, like you've been seeing on this list, I've been watching other stuff as well. Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, like Attack on Titan, like all of these shows. I've been watching everything. I've been watching a lot this year. But I want to talk about shoujo because it's been the thing that helped me get through a very sort of difficult time. And I know that's so basic to say, but it's the truth. Like this year has been rough. This year I've had to upend 8 years of habitual work in a rhythm and a way that felt comfortable for me and felt like something that I could do forever, like something that I could happily do forever. And I had to change a lot of things that felt very uncomfortable to do. And still feel like I eventually found a job, thankfully, after months of looking, by the way, months. Like if you're looking for a job out there and you're thinking, man, I keep applying, I'm getting nowhere. Trust me, it's not just you. I mean, I've seen highly skilled people posting stories of like how they've just got like inboxes, hundreds and hundreds of rejections. Highly skilled people, more skilled than you or I could possibly ever be. Like with years of experience, it's just crazy. It's crazy out there. And if you are struggling, keep at it. I promise it will turn a corner at some point. It really will. And in the meantime, you've at least got lots and lots and lots of shoujo to watch. And hopefully this rundown has given you some focus and some direction to, like, you know, to aim that laser beam to sort of to drink up and absorb the good vibes and try and get through whatever bad stuff you're going through, like it's done for me. So with that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for making it through this. I know it's been a bit of a slog. I know I've been waffling my way through at some points, but I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm hoping to post more. Like if you like the video. Comment. I'd love to hear from you. I know people say that. I know that's like YouTube toolkit that people just meant to say that, but I really do want to hear it, especially about the 15-year-olds with their own apartments thing. I definitely want to know if that's real. So if someone could tell me, I'd love to hear it. And yeah, be safe, be cool, be well, and I'll see you next time.